So one thing that the Jurassic franchise has most certainly helped do was popularize dromaeosaurs. With their inclusion of the very popular velociraptors, this kind of image always comes to mind when people think of dinosaurs. And for good reason. Their portrayal was absolutely awesome in the movie, and they definitely set the standard for what people expect when they see dromaeosaurs, or as they would like to call them, raptors. And for a while, it was only the velociraptor that showed up. Now, of course, in my previous video, I explained that Deinonychus was the inspiration for velociraptor, where while Achillobator was basically the inspiration for the size of it. So it was kind of like three different raptors that were kind of looped up into one to make one raptor that we saw, when in reality Velociraptor was significantly smaller than how it was shown on screen. And then years down the road, in Dominion, we finally got two more dromaeosaurs, that being Utahraptor and Pyroraptor. Now, this is another interesting case because these are also two examples of raptors that are estimated to be smaller than how they were portrayed on the big screen, and like quite a bit smaller. And actually, these are two like interesting raptors or dromaeosaurs to show on the big screen because there's some that we really don't know that much about. Utahraptor is known from very fragmentary remains, as well as Pyroraptor. And with the case of Pyroraptor, there's even a debate on whether or not it should be classified as its own genus, because there's another raptor that was found in the same area called Raptor. And there's really no way for us to tell if they belong to different dromaeosaurs, so it's very likely that Pyroraptor just simply doesn't exist. So I think that it's interesting that these are the raptors that they decided to show on the big screen, and the fact that they started to scale them up too. And that's kind of my little segue into the fact that we need giant dromaeosaurs to show up on the big screen. Because they do exist in the fossil record. Not all dromaeosaurs were small. Like, you know, if you are basing it off of the way that the Jurassic franchise portrays raptors, you'd think that all of them were just small and we had to scale them up for the dramatic effect. But no, in reality, there were some big dromaeosaurs out there. They just haven't been shown on the big screen yet. Take, for example, a dinosaur that recently got the spotlight in Prehistoric Planet Season 2, Australraptor. Now, it's actually a really unique dromaeosaur too. First of all, it's big. Like, it's decently big. It came up to like around 20 feet long. It was very tall. It had an elongated snout with curved back teeth that were actually a lot more round in shape, which is a lot more similar to that of Spinosaur teeth. So there's a lot of reason to believe that they actually spent most of their time eating fish, and it was portrayed as that in Prehistoric Planet 2. And they also had really short arms. I just wanted to throw that in there, like proportionally short arms. So it's likely that they mostly used their head to catch their prey. And they seem like a really good choice to have on the big screen. I mean, for one thing, they're unique. They've got an interesting sounding name. And they'll definitely stand out, again, because they have a very interesting looking skull that most people aren't used to when it comes to this family of dinosaurs. So Australraptor, I think, would be a really fun choice to have in your Jurassic films. But of course, the next one is a dead ringer, that being Utahraptor. Now, Utahraptor was an absolute unit. Most people think that Velociraptor was inspired off of Utahraptor. That's not the case. I mean, for one thing, Utahraptor is still bigger than Velociraptor in the Jurassic films. But for another, Utahraptor was found after the movie released. But Utahraptor, I think, would be a great choice because, for one thing, it's not really swift and agile, which is something that we're used to when it comes to dromaeosaurs, because that's something that Jurassic Park has pushed a lot, and it's something that we kind of see a lot with other dinosaurs like Deinonychus and Velociraptor. No, it was a lot more stocky and basically just robust and heavier, weighing up to 600 pounds, which means that it was more so an ambush predator that would take on decently larger prey, which means that this could bring a lot of fear if you saw something like this on the big screen. And I think that it could definitely implant itself into the minds of the viewing audience and really have a lasting impression, and maybe even become a very popular dinosaur. Not to mention, I think both of these would look absolutely great with feathers. I know not a lot of people like feathers. I like feathers. I think that would be really cool to see them. It'd give you a lot more creative freedom when designing them, instead of making them blend in with the other Jurassic dinosaurs that have already shown up. And they're not even the only ones. There's, of course, Utahraptor. There's, as I mentioned before, Achillobator, which is a lot more close to size to the Jurassic Velociraptor. There's other options that you have when bringing dromaeosaurs to the big screen, especially if you want to have larger ones. If you think that that's like the only way you can leave a lasting impression on the audience. Because I just think it is odd that we have ones that are estimated to be smaller and we just scale them up when there's ones that already exist. Now, of course, the reasoning why they do that could probably be boiled down to the just simply the name of these dinosaurs. Like Australraptor and Pyroraptor probably do have a good ring to it and have an appeal in the media compared to something like Dakotaraptor or Utahraptor or Achillibator or something like that. I mean, I personally disagree. I think that those are really cool sounding names too, but who really knows why they decided to go with Pyroraptor and Utahraptor instead of these other ones. Basically, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of missed potential when it comes to dromaeosaurs in the Jurassic franchise. I mean, for one, at one point, I think it would be fun to see a smaller dromaeosaur that is an actual threat to our protagonists. And again, instead of ones that are always huge, you know, because they come in all different shapes and sizes, and for the most part, all of the dromaeosaurs that we've seen on screen are roughly the same size, and you bring these ones in, and you're going to have bigger ones and some that are a little bit smaller, but still you're only going to have huge raptors when you could probably mix it up with having some smaller ones too. But in any case, what do you guys think? Did you like to see these other dromaeosaurs on the big screen, or are you fine with what we have now? Are you just fine with smaller raptors being enlarged, or would you like bigger raptors to be brought in to actually be their true size and kind of have a lasting impact? This is just an interesting topic that I thought up of. It's kind of like another rambling video, but yeah, be sure to let me know your guys' thoughts and have an awesome day.